Vinny Lingham, who is founder of Civic, which provides compliance tools for DeFi, NFTs, and different businesses. And as well, he is general partner at Multicoin Capital and Newton Capital. Nice to meet you here, Vinny.
Thanks, Anna. Good to be here.
So, can you tell us about your journey in the blockchain crypto? How did you know about it?
Sure. So I started off with Gift, the mobile gift card platform. We added Bitcoin to it in 2013, and it was a big success, and everyone loved using Gift for gift cards. And then we sold the company to First Data in 2014. And in 2015, I started Civic, which is a blockchain-based identity company. And we did ICO in 2017, and we're doing NFT and DeFi identities right now at Civic.
Yeah, that's cool. And how did you discover Bitcoin first? Did your friends tell it to you, or did you find it on the internet or something like that?
I read an article on TechCrunch back in the days, and I kind of ignored it. And then a friend of mine told me about it afterwards, that it was doing very well. Then I bought some and I got into it early.
Yeah, that's cool. And what did you see valuable in Bitcoin?
I like, for Bitcoin, I like the idea of this fast global payments network where you can send money around the world without having to go through intermediaries and third parties. And I like the idea that you can do a lot of interesting things with global payments. So that's why I come from the background where Bitcoin for me was a really cryptocurrency. It was the first cryptocurrency where you could actually do payments.
Right. And how did your idea of starting Civic come to you?
So when I looked at blockchain technology like Bitcoin, I said, what else can you do with this besides payments? And identity was the obvious next step for me. It's taken a while for the industry to catch up, but it's finally getting to a point now where people are realizing how important digital identity is. And so Civic's been building that for 6 years. We're the first blockchain-based identity company out there. And we are building a product called Civic Pass, which works for KYC, which is know your customer, for NFTs and DeFi.
Interesting. So why did you decide now to step down from the role of CEO at Civic?
Yeah, I mean, being CEO for 6 years of a company is a long time. It's a lot of fun, a lot of big ups and downs, but we got through COVID, we did very well, and the team is stepping up, and my CEO, Chris, was ready to become CEO and run the company, and I'm happy to be chairman and let him take on the reins and operationally run the company. The product set, the roadmap's not changing much, it's just execution, and he's good at that, so I thought it was a good fit.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And tell us more about your investments, like your seed investor into Solana, Filecoin. How do you select whether it's good asset to invest into or not?
Yeah, so I always look at the entrepreneur, and when I met Juan from Filecoin, I was really impressed with him technically, and I thought that he was a really great technical mind. And I wrote an early seed check in Filecoin, one of the first investors, in 2014, backing them, and they've done really well since. Anatoly and Raj, I met them in 2018, also super impressed, really smart guys, and I got involved early and Multicoin invested in the seed round, and we've been a big supporter of Solana ever since. And my most recent investment, which I think is very similar to the previous two, is in a guy named Jules Oba from Render Token, and they're basically building a distributed GPU network, and Jules is one of those crazy geniuses who understands things like the metaverse on a different level, and I'm backing him because I think that the metaverse is going to happen very soon, and the fact that Facebook rebranded to Meta is interesting, and I think that Render is going to be a pivotal infrastructure company in the metaverse.
And what are your thoughts on that branding of Facebook to Meta? Is it just like a hype?
I think
will it fail like Libra, or do you see the future?
I think it's a premature move, but I think that Zuckerberg probably felt that he had to do something to become more relevant, because the world's moving towards decentralized virtual reality systems like Somnium Space is really interesting. And I think Horizon, which was Facebook's building, needs to do a lot of work to catch up technically to Somnium. Now obviously Facebook has a lot more resources, they can do a lot. But these marketplaces like Somnium, Decentraland, Sandbox, they're all emerging, and this is the next phase of the internet.
And can you tell us more on which areas do you focus currently in Multicoin Capital? Which industries are the most have the biggest potential in crypto?
Multicoin invests across the board in crypto. Everything from DeFi to Web3. The Web3 thesis is pretty strong, so we're trying to do a lot more Web3 investments. But it's broad. It's in crypto and it's broad.
And do you do anything in yield farming, staking space?
I do a little bit of that, but not a lot. I've been experimenting with some yield farming on some NFTs just for fun. I've actually lost money on yield on being a liquidity provider, and I've learned some lessons, and so it's interesting.
Which protocol was that?
Oh, I was just staking some coins in an AMM, and then the market tanked, and so it was impermanent losses, which you learn, right? So I don't do a lot of that. I like to look at like long-term investing. I do stake Solana, which is great, easy. But the more complicated staking stuff takes too much time, and I don't have a lot of time to do staking.
And any other projects in Solana ecosystem interesting for you?
Yeah, I'm also invested in Mango Markets and Synthetify and Oxygen and a few others. I think that it's very interesting what's happening in Solana. I've got a whole bunch that I haven't announced yet, but I think the Solana ecosystem is my focus for most investments going forward. I'm looking for more and more Solana-based protocols, applications to invest in and support.
And why do you think that this is a blockchain which has the biggest potential?
I think that what the world needs is a ultra-fast, cheap blockchain. I don't think that Bitcoin is that. I don't think that Ethereum is that. I think Solana is that. I think Solana will be bigger than Ethereum. But there's nothing wrong with both of them being really big chains that people use. But I do think Solana is easily going to be number 3 very soon, and probably number 2 in a short space of time as well. And I think it's actually good. It's good for Ethereum.
There was like a recent outage of Solana, and a lot of people say that there are some technical problems with it.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin had the same problems. Ethereum has the same problems. Solana is like only a year and a half since launch. And it was a minor problem. They already knew about the bug. They already had a patch. It was up and running back in less than a day. But to be fair, Solana tripled really under 400,000 transactions per second, which is more than all the other blockchains combined right now. And that's when it kind of, it had a hiccup. So let's just be fair that it is the fastest, most scalable blockchain out there by far.
And what are your thoughts about Avalanche? The result claims itself to be the fastest and one of the most secure blockchains.
Avalanche is great. I mean, I know the guys there. They're doing some interesting work. Avalanche is great. The guys there are doing some really interesting, deep work in blockchains, and I think there's a lot to come. I'm not sure whether Avalanche or Solana are competitive right now. I mean, Solana is really taking off with NFTs and really becoming more the Ethereum killer. Avalanche may have other applications and use cases, but we'll see. Look, nobody can be an expert on every blockchain. I'm not an expert on Avalanche. I like the team. I think it's interesting, but Solana is winning.
And can you share with us any other altcoin picks?
I mean, so I think Render, as I mentioned, is my number 1 pick right now. I actually still like Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin is very interesting, and I think we're going to see a buck per Doge at some point. So I think it's a good investment. I like Doge a lot. And there's some other ones that are coming up. But I mentioned Mango Markets, Synthetify as well on Solana. Helium is fantastic. We've got stuff like Rune as well. I mean, there's a lot of great coins out there.
What about Shiba Coin and other meme coins?
I'm not a big Shiba fan.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't really see the value in Shiba. I think Doge's value is in the fact that it's been around for so long. I mean, so many people have it. So a lot of the Doge's value is it's a social currency for a lot of people.
And what current trends in DeFi do you see?
The most important trend I'm looking at is how compliance hits DeFi. So Civic obviously does compliance, and we do KYC and AML, and we haven't seen what happens when the government force companies to do it. We've already launched a compliant AMM with Solrise Dex Pro, but we haven't seen what happens when governments mandate KYC and AML for DeFi. It's coming. And then I think Civic does really well as a company producing the technology that you need, which is on-chain identity to make sure there's compliance.
Yeah, it has big potential. And can you share some upcoming plans of Civic?
I'm just the chairman. I think with Civic, if I talk about Civic, I really want to focus on the products. And the products we have right now is the Civic Pass for developers to use for minting NFTs and making sure that your audience is, like the biggest problem in NFT minting is the bots take up all the mints and then they go and resell it like scalpers. With our product, you can prevent scalpers from scalping all the NFTs, and you can make it one person in a very safe, private, secure way using identity. And that's what we're focusing on right now, is making sure people know about this product and NFT creators start using Civic.
Yeah, so we will wait for more news from you, and as well, what are your Bitcoin price predictions?
I think Bitcoin gets close to, maybe over $100,000 this year.
This year, yeah. And do you see the next year a bull market, or will we have a bear market?
It depends on how high Bitcoin goes in this run. If it goes too high, we may have a bear market. If it goes to 100 or so, we're fine.
Okay, so hopefully we will have this bull market forever.
Hopefully.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Anna. Great being here.